Hello, hello. This music sounds pretty happy, doesn't it? Nice and happy. Oh yeah, it's Christmas time. And everybody knows that the best thing to do at Christmas time is spend shitloads of money on those you love. You're not a good friend or lover or parent or child if you're not buying the latest in our products for this Christmas. In fact, you're barely even worthy of being a human being. How can you say that you truly love things like joy, kindness, humanity, love, if you are not buying everything you can this Christmas? Oh my god, listen to this. This is, here, I'll pull it up. Yeah, so this is by RKVC. No hate to the artists who are trying to make a buck, but do you hear this? This is just about as soulless as Christmas music as I've ever heard. And it's called Holly Dazed too. Props for the pun. I'm feeling a little Holly Dazed just listening to it. This is not better either. But by a different person. And then that first one was called Christmas Chores. So this is, again, we're diving into the YouTube Studio audio library, which is, in one way or another, we talked a little bit about copyright last week, but in one way or another, this is all music that can be used for free in YouTube videos, even remixed and such. There are some restrictions on how you can use it and how you have to credit it. But yeah, this is all free for the taking for literally anyone, as long as you're, following the copyright rules. Not bad, right? Anyway, these tracks are pretty lackluster, aren't they? But what I'd like to do is turn them into something funky and awesome. I don't know why I keep gravitating towards funk. It's my curse, I suppose. But here we are. Yeah, we can go with this. We'll download. Thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. Alright. Now to Ableton. Let's see. So first things first, load in the clip. Ooh, loading. Clip loading. Ready to clip. Alright. What's our tempo? 152.86. That sounds high. It's because it's using the. So if this is at 152.86, then no, okay. So we have to keep it at 4. Now, the real tempo of this is probably half of this. And it's probably in 6/8 as opposed to 3/4. But I can't blame Ableton for thinking that this is the tempo. And it looks like it's drifting a little bit. Maybe not. Oh yeah, it's definitely drifting. All right, well, so we'll use this tempo as our baseline and we'll adjust slightly. So one thing I noticed with the last couple sample things that I did is that they were pretty repetitive, and I'd like to get around that. And my initial thought was to use longer samples. Um, but a lot of these samples are pretty dense, and the good part of the sample is not very long. So the other solution is to make a beat that doesn't use the sample the whole time. So that's what we're going to try to listen for here. And see, this one, this track is very self-similar. There's no part that particularly stands out as you know, the melody or the A section, the B section. So we have to kind of figure out what is going on in this track. So first things first. We start off with the basic guitar, piano, drums, bass. And it sounds like a synth in the background. And that feels like, so this right here feels like a full phrase. With a chord happening every 4 bars, 2 bars. Yeah. And then it goes back to the first chord. But you might notice that the synth comes out more in the mix. That's a pretty common technique. So that the second iteration sounds a little different. Did I say that? So the second iteration sounds a little different. Oh my gosh. So really, if we were going to use one of these sections, we'd probably want to use this one since it's a little more complex, a little richer, a little nicer. But let's listen to the next section. And now we have a B section chord-wise, which seems to be half the length. Yeah. So this is a little shorter chord progression that repeats twice in this. So these are functionally the same as well. They just repeated. So technically it doesn't matter, but another thing to note that in these pieces that have these 8-bar phrases or 16-bar phrases or however you want to count the time signature, the latter half is going to have a bigger drum fill. So if you listen, so to the drums, you got your basic pattern going on, and then a little hit there. But here, much bigger hit. And that can be useful in sampling if we wanted to kind of emulate that, like have this for this 3 times and then this 1 time, then you know, it would end up sounding a little bit more natural because the drums would come at the end of the big phrase. That said, this section is not super exciting, so I'm not really actually feeling it. Let's just keep listening. Show it. Interesting. So this is actually probably the most interesting part so far. It's just a 2-bar transition, which sounds very transitional, but that might actually be a good clip to use because it's a little bit less cheesy. The drums aren't too bad either. Now, we're back to this section. Let's see if they repeat it. But you can hear the synth is different again. It's more vocally. Yeah. All right, so they're repeating this again. Let's see if they repeat the whole thing. We've still got quite a bit of song to go through. So this should be a 4-bar phrase. See, they keep altering what instrument comes out, and here it's the guitar, which is a good way to provide variety when you don't want the sound to change all that much. Yep, that was another full phrase. Oh, and then we're at the outro, which I'm betting is just the intro one more time. Ooh, and it sounds like they added some heavier bells. The bells have been present, but it sounds like they were a little louder there. And on the first chord, what is that chord? It's a good chord. So essentially we've got an AABB transition, AABB transition, AA form. Could be, it's definitely some sort of A major extension chord, but could be A major 7 or A major 6. Add 6. Oh, or 9, or 9. Which is just a pretty chord. Gosh darn. I should use more ninth chords. All right. So if we're going to go for any of this, then we really want to go for the biggest, right? So that means this is the A section we'd want to use. And this is that last transition we'd want to use. Yep. Cool song, actually. It's basically just, you know, chord progressions played by a band. But that works for this type of music. And then if we get rid of the tail here, seems to work. Nope, that doesn't work. That works. Okay. I'm actually not feeling this part as much. This chord progression is just really nice. What is that chord progression anyway? So we'll figure that out. But maybe we should figure that out first, actually. I was starting to think, like, we can go all in on. So we start out with a D, D major 7 chord. Good chord to start. A very good chord to start. And then what's next? Yeah, literally just. So. Pretty simple stuff, to be honest. Effective, yes. Simple, also yes. And I suppose there's nothing wrong with that. KK all the way. Hi. Hey, how's it going? Just transcribing this Christmas music. um, which, you know, so if it goes. There we go. Or is that a 7? Probably. No. Hmm. There we go. Now, hold on a minute. Let's just make sure that's correct. Okay. I've never transcribed music not using actual staff notation. You normally use some sort of staff program like MuseScore to get the yeah MuseScore for sure. I mean MuseScore is just the best option out there. Easy. I find that having the staff is a little counterintuitive because you learn the sound of the instrument. This seems way easier. Well, at least it tastes different. That's a good way to put it. um, so one thing that I've talked to a lot of musicians and discovered is that even if they don't have perfect pitch, um, if you play a note on their primary instrument, they'll be able to they'll have a much easier time telling you which note you're playing because they're so used to the sound of their instrument. So like on trumpet, um, the different uh, the different overtones that you can buzz at, the different registers of the trumpet, um, all sound and feel slightly different, uh, especially to a trumpet player. And then um, if they also can see the valves that are being pushed down, then they'll get the note immediately. But even then, like the different valves sound a little different. And a a good instrumentalist will strive to make their tone as even as possible, but because of the nature of the imperfect instrument, it's impossible to do that. So I find that transcribing in MuseScore or on computer in general is much harder than transcribing on an instrument because you kind of already have the sound of the instrument in your fingers, in your ear. Now, obviously, I'm transcribing on a MIDI keyboard, so it doesn't really super apply in this situation. But for me, it's still more intuitive to play the chords on the piano, even if, uh, it's all digital. It still feels more like I'm getting the notes intuitively. I'm glad that makes sense. Yeah, MuseScore's gotten really good. Have you seen, do you know Tantacruel? Um, just a random music YouTuber who made a bunch of rants about design and ended up working on the new Muse score, which is super cool. He works on Muse score and Ableton now, so um, he's basically like the open source champion of music, which I love. It's more effective. Well, it depends. Ooh, that doesn't sound right. Um, did I transcribe this correctly? I did not. F sharp. Oop, no, not all of them once. A. Ah, because we go from G minor from G major to G sharp minor. There we go. Using a DAW tastes like horizontal music making. Notation feels like a vertical arrangement. I love the way you describe things, by the way. It's very, very cool. Um, but I agree, and I think that if you think of music as developing sound over time, then it makes a lot more sense to use a DAW, especially when you get to things like, so for example, um, in a DAW, you can open up these automation sliders and uh, change things like volume, panning, or even go into effects racks and change individual like filters. Um, and it feels more natural than adding in dynamic markings. Uh, I've been arranging music on MuseScore since I was young, years old, and so I got used to it. Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I was going to say earlier. More effective really depends on what your goal is, because exactly like you said, if you're trying to do a large scale arrangement, then uh, this gets complicated quickly. Whereas the entire point of music notation is to be easily parsable and differentiable to the human eye as you look at a lot of lines of music. One MIDI track looks the same as all the other MIDI tracks. I also spent 4 years in undergrad arranging music for this orchestra. It was awesome. I have a hard time using anything else. Very, very cool. I'm actually going to save this real quick. You just save this as Christmas chore. And then let me just move this in here. That's very cool. It's awesome to have a any sort of musician willing to play or sing your pieces, and having a full orchestra is incredibly envious. All right, let's give a listen to this. Ooh, I like that. Boo doo doo. I also conducted the pieces, so my ears have gotten pretty sharp over time. Nice. I find conducting to be um, an interesting pursuit because I think it is still honestly the best way to make music with 50 plus people. But it's interesting because it's very I don't know, old school. You don't actually need 50 plus people to make a big song anymore. So it feels like a skill from a bygone era, but it definitely does help you hear music better. There's definitely a G in there, but this is probably an E chord. Yeah, I think it's E minor 7. I hear the D in there. I hear the D. You can get really creative with it, like you learn to communicate without using words. That's so cool. I I actually did an undergrad degree in music composition, which is kind of the basis of um, my music studies. And I did a conducting class, and it was very interesting to for the teacher to explain like and you get to like make your hands move like the sound wants to sound. The bygone era part. Uh, so I guess while I'm transcribing here, we can talk about the state of classical music. Back to D. Uh, D. No, no 7 this time. But is there a 6? That is the question. uh, hell yeah, yeah. So the thing is, contemporary classical music composers struggle because classical music inherently is music of the classical era. It That was the time period when it was the most popular, and that is when people uh, come like, oh, hey, Shade, how's it going? We're talking about music as usual. Um, should clarify, we played anime and video game music. Ooh, nice. Oh, so when you said orchestra, I pictured like a classical orchestra, but anime and video game music. There's some really good stuff in there. Um, Kind of like Tokyo Philharmonic or Final Fantasy orchestral performance, except a little less professional. A little less professional than the Tokyo Philharmonic. I can forgive you for that. uh, but that's cool. Um, yeah, sorry, Ella. But uh, even in the area of video game and anime music, there's some really good stuff. Um, what's interesting, I think, is oh, glad to hear you're feeling good, Shade. um, what's interesting, I think, is that in anime and movie and theater music, you're writing music to fit a particular scene, um, and then in video game music, you're also kind of writing mood music, but mood music that needs to loop. So either way, whether you're translating it uh, out of the context of the scene that it's in, or translating it so it doesn't loop infinitely, right? There's still some uh, uh, compositional arrangement challenges, which I'm sure you ran into like all the time. Ooh, that's a cool chord. The 5 chord. Oh, but not. It's so that it sounds cool because it's a 5 chord, but it's not a 7. So we're not quite at the. Oh, wait. Okay, we are at the end. Nice. Best mood game music has got to be Undertale. Holy smokes! Bringing up Undertale in my Undertale music in my stream, you're about to get the rant. Uh, Undertale is the best soundtrack of any video game ever. Period in existence. There's there's no other soundtrack that uses its melodic material so efficiently across so many different styles while still capturing the mood of the story and remaining iconic, melodic, and interesting. It's just Toby Fox is a great video game maker, but he is a inspired video game composer. Like the the problem with video game music is that the early stuff didn't interact with the scenes at all. It basically was just this plays in the background. And that gave video game composers a lot of leeway to do whatever they wanted as long as the mood kind of fit. Think about the early Mario music. You've got music that is bouncy, fun, jazzy, interesting, but doesn't really connect with what's going on screen. And as technology has advanced, video games have become more cinematic. And so these ideas start to come in where you've got like motifs for each character and a wider variety of instruments available that allows each scene to be kind of orchestrated. Now, you still get some iconic melodies like the Halo theme. Um, Journey has some iconic melodies in it. Honestly, Journey is up there too for best video game soundtrack of all time. But what what Undertale does is it takes those um, melodic ideas and brings it back to just let's make the tone of the scene kind of consistent and fun and interesting without having to worry too much about what's going on in the story. And obviously, that's helped in part by how Undertale plays out as a game. But my God, just the variety of music is just so good. The I mean, the Flowey final boss fight is one of the just most amazing pieces of music that I've heard in a video game because how could you possibly like expect that to happen? It's pretty amazing. So yeah, Undertale, top notch. All right. So the other thing that's happening here is that this is slightly offset. And we need to fix that. Whoop. Cancel. No. What the heck was that? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the Undertale rant, because you know what I should do? Oh, what? God damn it! Come on, this stop! My mouse is fighting me right now. You gotta go, but you'll leave your phone on to give me views. You're very sweet, thank you. Good luck on your stream or whatever you're doing. And then we can do that, and all of a sudden, everything's lining up. You know, I should do some like Undertale stuff. Isn't the goal, the secret of internet success, just, you know, combine popular things? I'm sure somebody's already done this, but Undertale music would be awesome with lyrics. I love the Undertale rants. And there's so much to rant about in Undertale. It's a really good game, and it's kind of sad that the fandom got so intense about it. I guess that's a good way to put it. All right, so this is the entire sample, and what we've got here is basically just a chord progression. Even if we turn off the grand piano, there's not really a lot going on in this sample. So what we're gonna do with that is we're gonna mess with it. I forget their name, but there's this person who made lyrics to Spider Dance, and I like it. I definitely want to listen to it. Have you heard the? Oh, okay. First things first. Is this still on Warp? It is. All right. I like those tracks that that add lyrics, but I think the problem with those is that from then on, whenever I hear that track, I always have to sing the lyrics in my head. Like there was a video game video years ago. Holy smokes, this is like internet ancient history. But basically this guy took a bunch of video game pieces and put words to them and then played them on guitar all together. Oh man, I can't even remember his name, but he was from Sweden, and the video is kind of controversial because one of the song lyrics that he put to it um, had a bad word in it, a very bad word, and he did not realize it was a bad word in English when he made the video. Um, so, but all the other songs on that video ended up being really catchy. The lyrics that he made to them, and now whenever I hear like the Mega Man theme, it's not just the Mega Man theme. It's always the words that he puts to the Mega Man theme. Let me see if I can find it. Well, let me not do that on stream. Um, let's see. It's such an old video. This is like uh, predating uh, Smooth McGroove, even. What does it mean in Swedish? Oh, the bad word? No, it's in English. He sings in English, which I think um, where is it? Oh yeah, here he is. 11 years ago is when this video came out. Oh man. Okay. I'll put it in chat, but don't play it in front of your friends. It's got a bad word in it. um, but yeah, that would be. I'm sure that there's people who have already done that. Maybe there's a newer video game that I could do. So let's just. Okay, I think I need to do a little something on this first, which is make this sound a little more like a sample by cutting out the low end drums and the big crash cymbal. Yeah. All right, now let's add the drums. And where's my list of drums that I like? I'll use this one. No, that ain't right. Oh, wow. That's too powerful. Maybe. Let's give it a shot. Still trying to figure this out. No, that isn't how you do it. All right, we'll just make this the full length. And that way I don't have to worry about adjusting it again. You know, thinking about it, it would probably be even cooler to do anime music now because there's probably so much more of it than there used to be. Ooh, got a follower on Twitch. We're on YouTube today, but thank you, Oriza HVT. Okay, so we're actually treating each bar like a beat, which is okay, which means this is our basic not feeling that. Maybe it was just too loud. You know, that's not bad. Yeah, okay. I think I do like the hi-hat hiss. And we're going to start by making it not that loud. Yeah. All right. Good place to start. Just add one more kick drum there, and all of a sudden, stands out a lot. But, oop, consolidate. All right. Now, the $1,000,000 question is, do we want the chords in this order? Because we've got, let's see. Whoop. Record on grand piano, please. Octave up. And then that's a so we can actually change this around to make it a little bit cooler even. Let's make the note names visible here. So what's a cool chord progression using these chords? That's a cool chord. That's also a cool chord. So we've got two different G chords we could use. If we wanted to go like a minor-ish sort of thing, like that's very triumphant. We've also got an F sharp major or F sharp minor and an F sharp minor 7. And as well as a D major and a D major 7. So let's see. I think so we could go that sounds pretty cool. All right, so that means we'd have not everything all at once. We'd have the A chord first, followed by one of the G chords. So let's try this one. Taking the general idea that the later chords are more interesting because you know, music develops over time. And so then the fourth chord. And then we put the A chord in between there. Okay. So now we duplicate that and we give a listen. It's kind of got an interesting sound to it. Maybe we put a D chord there at the very end. Maybe. Or would this chord work better? The only other chord is an E chord, which I guess I could try. Wouldn't hurt. Actually, What if? There we go. I like that. Okay. So now we mute this real quick, duplicate it, and figure out the actual chords that are going on here. So this is we start out with the A chord, and we go to the G chord. I don't think we actually used that chord. So cool, cool, cool. And then back down to the D chord. And then to the F sharp again. I like it. And the best part about it is it does actually sound a little Christmassy, doesn't it? Ah, the true goal, to make Christmassy sounding Christmas music. All right, let's move this back here. All right. First things first, let's figure out the sound of this synthesizer that we want. Kind of feeling something stringy. No. Now that's not bad. Turn it down a little bit. Okay, so now, how to make a digital chord progression interesting 101. First things first. You want good voice leading. So this middle voice will probably drop down. And then let's see, this is the E chord. So we can actually get rid of this B because fifths are for losers. And then this is the F sharp chord, so we can get rid of the C sharp. Right? No. No, 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 no. That ain't right. This is a D. So we can get rid of the A, actually. And keep the D. All right. So now we have good voice leading. And actually, I think that this voice can go up top. Maybe not. Now, rule number 2 is you change the chords slightly. So I've adjusted all the chords that contain this note, but now we have a consistent top note, which I don't even think it should be that note. But that would be the third in A major, which is kind of where this chord progression sits. Yeah, maybe we should move this line on top. Alright, I gotta change the filter a little bit. Let more frequencies through. Alright. I need like a shaker. So let's go to this section of the drum thing. Go to drum hits, shaker. Look at all these shaker options. Wait a minute. We don't need a shaker, we need bells. That's it. There it is. All right. Now I've completely destroyed the drum that I put here, which was the crystal clear drum. But now we do this. Go get that jingle bell. All right. Time to figure out how to make this not annoying. No, we don't want this clip. We want this clip. Pretty annoying at the moment. That helps. I think we can do even better by lowering that. Barely audible. Just how I like it. It's sounding very Christmassy. And I've been wanting to do something more swingy as well. So now, what next? We just get a nice brass sound. Record arm is F9. Oh wow. My keyboard even has a music note on F9. That's wild. Man, that's a bright green. And that's too loud. Down. So what that does is it just adds a little bit more stability to the chord progression and makes this feel like a single repeatable unit a little bit more. All right. Now I want some sort of ostinato, probably in the bass. We're still a little bass light. So do we want that boom sub bass? Do you love that boom sub bass? So looking at this, we've got the C sharp constantly in the chords. So what we can do is find the note that sounds good here. There we go. Found it, I think. Low ostinato in the bass. There we go. All right, let's go into that. Quantize. You might not even be able to hear it on your headphones, but it sounds quite nice. It's a pretty low bass. And now I'm wondering, could we... I like the hit style. Could we extend these? What's going on here? I forgot we sped this up a lot. Because it's not actually, it doesn't sound that fast, but our tempo's quite high because of the nature of this, the sample. All right, first things first. Let's adjust this snare a little bit. Maybe a little bit back is fine. This is a pretty chill, laid back groove. Chill. It's Christmas. Get it? Alf. I think I need something else. Maybe like change this to this in each bar. It doesn't quite work. No. The only other symbol we've got is up here. Maybe just make it louder. Well, I'm on the wrong one even. Yeah, I don't mind that. All right, let's do it. Making drums sound natural is a long process. All right. Think we've done enough. This is a pretty chill jam. Time to pull out the lead. What lead? I do love Henry's solo. A Glockenspiel, maybe? Inspired. Thank you. Oh, we've still got this playing. Shh, 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 shh. I've got a Glockenspiel in here. It's actually the perfect instrument because it's very Christmassy. Going into the Contact 5 factory library. Very cool library. Lots and lots of very good instrument samples. All right. So where's our Glockenspiel? There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Actually, before we make the Glockenspiel, we have to make room for the Glockenspiel, which means moving the sounds out of the center where possible. So we'll start with a wider on that. On this. Jingle bells can go over there. And what else do we got? Hi-hat. Hi-hat can go a little bit over there. Snare and kick. Kick stays in the center. Snare gets slightly offset. This is the sample. I kind of want the sample to get a little wider too. this can go a little to the right. And then bass stays in the center. So now, wow, this is an actual instrument sample. So I can hear it a little better, but it's still not very, loud. So why don't we just do, yeah, see, it's so quiet. Maybe not that loud. I'm digging this. All right. I also need to remember to put a good master on this. Oh boy, a little loud there. Glockenspiel really was a great call because this it's kind of lacking that high end, so the Glockenspiel just sits on top of everything nicely. don't know what it is, but it's got a very classic Christmassy sort of sound, you know? And I almost feel like it's this stupid little sample, which is awesome. The drums sound so basic by themselves. We'll end on that. A nice 5-1 tonic finish. Well, that was a lot of fun. And I think it turned out well. I'm not really going to write a melody at this point because that's not the point. The point is to make a beat with samples and make it sound Christmassy and fun. And I don't know. Maybe someday I will put this all into like an actual track and do some Vocaloid or rapping over it or something. But right now I want to focus on finding cool samples and making cool beats from cool samples. And I gotta say, this wasn't a very cool sample, but it turned into something pretty cool, something nice and even Christmassy. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by, especially Loxa for the Glockenspiel suggestion, Shade for bringing up Undertale, which was a good rant, and then of course KK all the way for keeping me company and sharing some cool thoughts and insights about music. Always love to talk about music. Big fan. Personally, big fan of music. Well, my name's Isaac Anzu. I hope you learned something, had a good time. I certainly did. I'll see you next time. Woo.